So I just finished watching the Apple event and holy shit, let's ramble.
Hold up, place go wild when I pull up. They all on me like it wants.
Hey, what is up guys? It's great to see you all again, and if you're new here, I'm Patrick and this is where I ramble about tech and other stuff. So guys, first we all thought this was going to be a lackluster event, like the most boring event of all time with an iPhone SE and maybe an incremental upgrade to the iPad Air. Then Mark Gurman started teasing us with rumors of maybe a new Mac Mini and maybe a new MacBook Pro with a new M2 chip, which, you know, would be cool, but nothing too exciting. But man, this turned out to be a pretty awesome event with some real killer devices. So let's recap all the stuff we're getting, starting off with what we did actually predict. And when I say we, I mean the leakers, I am but the messenger. All right, so Tim Cook patted himself on the back for a little bit about the Apple TV Plus and all the amazing content they produced, and that won a bunch of awards. He also announced that Friday Night Baseball is coming to the Apple TV, and I'm sure some people are excited about that. Also, a rumor coming to fruition is the fact that there are now two new colors for the iPhone 13 and the iPhone 13 Pro, green and alpine green respectively. And I gotta say, they look pretty dope. And if they had alpine green when the iPhone 13 Pro was launched, I think I might have actually picked that one. Anyway, I'm not gonna swap my perfectly good iPhone 13 Pro just because of some new color, so that news doesn't really excite me much either. As expected, the iPhone SE is getting an update, and as expected, Apple is cramming slightly better technology into the same old design. The iPhone SE is getting the A15 Bionic chip, and that is definitely a step up. I just don't really understand the point of comparing it to the iPhone 8 to prove how powerful it is. But there we go. Oh, and also it will have 5G. The SE will come in three colors: Midnight, Starlight, and Product Red, aka red, white, and blue, aka the colors of my motherland, and the colors of the good old US of A. See, we're connected. The SE is sticking with a single camera setup, which will be a 12 megapixel camera, but you can expect the performance to be significantly better because of that improved chip. Apple is adding photographic styles, aka filters. Let's be honest, it's kind of weird listening to the presentation of the SE because it's kind of like somebody is trying to be super hyped about last year's technology. But we have to keep in mind that this is a budget phone, and it's actually pretty impressive what you're getting for the price, which starts at $429, making a good iPhone accessible to a much larger audience. The second prediction that materialized was that of a new iPad Air. Although it's getting the M1 chip, which most of us, including myself, kind of ruled out, as it would be bringing the iPad Air too close to the M1 iPad Pro. But I guess I was wrong. There will be an M1 chip in the iPad Air 5. It will also have a 12 megapixel ultra-wide camera with center stage. It'll come in space gray, starlight, pink, purple, and a new shade of blue. And it will start at a price of $599. Unfortunately, it only comes in 64 and 265 gigs. And the display will only have 500 nits, which is the same brightness as the iPad mini, and that's just not very bright. Just to put it into perspective, the M1 iPad Pro delivers 1000 nits of brightness and goes up to 1600 nits in HDR mode. It will have a faster USB-C port, but no Thunderbolt port, so yeah, there's definitely still a gap between the Air and the Pro. But having said that, at $599, you're getting a pretty powerful machine that will be great for content consumption, everyday tasks, and with a new chip will definitely be great for gaming as well. It supports the second gen Apple Pencil as well as the Magic Keyboard. Oh, and it has 5G. Now, so far nothing earth-shattering in the event. But then, ladies and gentlemen, it all changed when they whipped out the M1 Ultra on us. And by the way, can we just appreciate the name for a second, the Ultra? Didn't some other company recently call their newest device something Ultra? Anyway, the M1 Ultra is basically two M1 Max chips merged by what they call Ultra Fusion, or rather,
Ultra Fusion.
And compared to the original M1, that is truly a massive chip. It comes with 128 gigabytes of memory, 20 core CPU, 64 cores GPU, and 32 core neural engine. Yeah. This gives me massive gas and FOMO. And if you don't know, that means gear acquisition syndrome and fear of missing out, and I have both. Seriously though, I just received my 14-inch MacBook Pro with the M1 Max chip, so I can confidently say that I own the most powerful Mac chip for about 2 weeks, because this new chip will blow the M1 Max out of the water again. And you can see who this chip is built for. You can tell by the companies Apple had speak on behalf of the chip, it is definitely geared towards creative power users. Instant seemed to be the key word. Oh yeah, and layers. Buttery smooth layers. And that is why Apple calls this new powerhouse the Mac Studio, and it looks amazing. God, I'm such a nerd. Anyway, let's talk about the design for a minute. It basically looks like a double stacked Mac Mini, which I think looks dope. And of course, that means there will be plenty of room for heat dissipation, and that will definitely be necessary for those heavier tasks. According to Apple, you will barely be able to hear the fan, and that is crucial for us video creators. I remember my 16-inch Intel MacBook Pro, and that thing sounded like a rocket ship every time you so much as looked at it. The ports are also kind of a giveaway for Apple's target audience, since it has tons of display support, lots of Thunderbolt ports, and even a dedicated SD card slot. Bad news for manufacturers of Thunderbolt hubs, good news for the rest of us. There will be two versions of the new Mac Studio. One will have the M1 Max chip and will start at $1999, and the big boy will have the insane new M1 Ultra chip and will start at $39.99. So I guess you could say that one is a beefed up Mac Mini and the other one is more like a Mac Pro. But it's not the Pro, as the presenter gave us a little wink at the end about the Mac Pro being for another day, which probably means the Apple Fall event, since that's usually when the most powerful computers are presented. Now, if this Mac Studio with the new M1 Ultra chip is not the new Mac Pro, I can't wait to see what they will cram into that behemoth when the time comes, and I don't even want to know how much it will cost. But let's just appreciate that this tiny desktop machine is already multiple times more powerful than the ultra expensive current Mac Pro. I mean, it has 128 gigs of RAM, it can handle 18 streams of 8K video, and it has an SSD with speeds of up to 7.4 gigabytes per second, and that is literally insane. And if that wasn't impressive enough, Apple has also given us a shiny new display to go with it. The Studio display will have a 27-inch panel. It has 14.7 million pixels on a 5K Retina display, but it has only 600 nits, which isn't ultra bright. Having said that, it's for inside use. You're not going to use that display outside, well, unless you're a Canoopsy. The cool thing about this new display is that it will actually have a native A13 Bionic chip on board, which is there to power things like the 12 megapixel ultra wide camera with center stage and the 6 speakers with spatial audio. It will have 3 10 gigabytes per second USB-C ports and 1 Thunderbolt port, which can power your MacBook Pro, and you can even hook up 3 displays to 1 MacBook Pro. And all of that combined does make this display pretty darn impressive. Personally, I'm not super interested. I like working on ultra-wide displays, and 27-inch just isn't big enough for video timelines and stuff, but it does look seriously dope, and I'm sure it will be a fantastic display for photographers and graphic artists. It'll set you back $1,599, and it will be available on March 18th. Alright guys, let me know in the comments which of these products excited you the most, and how do you feel about this event? Were you as excited as I am, or did you expect something else that wasn't presented today? If you enjoyed the video, please give it one of these. It really does make a difference. Subscribe for more content. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one.